Yeah. Mm, 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 mm. Mm.
Now
Mm.
that now that is a St. Patrick's Day opener if I ever heard one.
What do you think? My name is what?
It
Patty.
that's right. This show is dedicated to Dr.
Oh my
Patty.
God.
So
Oh,
it's
I
great.
mean,
Yeah, it's great being here with you, Dr. Pat, on St. Patrick's Day. This is very
yeah.
auspicious.
St. Pat, if you grow up in the Bronx, you're St. Pat or Patty, but that's a D. My friends spell my name Patty, Paddy. Uh, yeah. But unlike when I was a youngster bopping around the streets, I don't drink today. But if I was back in the day, the Patty Day, whatever day that was, usually started. I'm from an Italian family, right? Well, I now know I'm from an Italian and Brazilian family, but it didn't matter. It didn't matter. It's St. Patty's Day. Everybody drink.
There you
Well,
go.
that day, all of my relatives, Luigi, Dickie, Bobby, Julie, Johnny, May, my mama, Anna, I'm leaving one of them out. Dickie, Julie, Johnny, Bobby, Billy, they were all Irish. Starting at about 7 in the morning.
Hey, what do you
Yeah,
what
no
can you
wonder.
say?
No wonder why you and your siblings grow up with drinking problems. Hello, just saying. But we got a great show today, right, Mark? Look, before we get to that, Mark and I know, and we have to take a moment out. First of all, I will tell you that Ireland and what freedom, and this is what I want to say with some Irish relatives, and especially Linda's mom, who taught me all about being Irish, the Lears. There was a battle for freedom, and they established a solid footprint and what that came to mean. So many cultures around the world. And in our day and age, Mark,
Yeah.
I did not think that we would be here full circle, but I am empowered today. I am inspired today. And you've got an announcement today. I'm hoping by the end of the show, we have an announcement. We have been making phone calls, connecting with the women of the Ukraine. But you have a very special announcement because it is so important in the effort that you've put forth to really contact people. You see, these folks are doing these interviews on mainstream. They're forgetting all about networks like this and the one they're going to be on, of all the people that do not watch those stations, but are the cultural creatives.
Right.
They are in the millions, right? And so tell everybody about what you have set up.
We have
Rocky and the team here.
Yeah, I gotta first off, special thanks to Dr. Pat, to Rocky, to Linda Firing. Jacob's going to be our recording engineer, producer tomorrow.
Yep.
Tomorrow, Friday, March 18th at 11 a.m. Pacific, 2 p.m. Eastern, and 2000 hours in the Ukraine. We are doing a special episode of The Psychic in the Dock, and our guest is Sviatoslav Yurash, and he is the youngest member of the Ukrainian parliament, and he has very generously agreed to be with us for an hour tomorrow, March 18th, to tell us about what's going on in Ukraine. This is a man who is literally on the front lines. He is incredibly talented. A month ago, life could not have been better. And now he is standing with his brothers and sisters in Ukraine to stand for liberty and for justice. So we are very, very privileged to have Sviatoslav Urash as our guest tomorrow on a very special episode of The Psychic and the Doc. And to tune into that, it's the same as tuning into our show every Thursday night. Right after this show is over, I have a newsletter going out worldwide, also with posts on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and LinkedIn about the show. This is not to be missed, because we're going to hear up close and personal somebody who is in the know of what's going on with the Ukrainian government and their war effort, but more importantly, the humanitarian crisis. And Dr. Pat, when you said you never thought in our lives that we would see,
I didn't think I'd see it again.
I mean, we all thought Europe had learned the lesson, and it appears that pretty much everyone in Europe did, except for one person. And our hearts go out to the Ukrainian people. And I want to say, Dr. Pat and I, we were talking about this. We're not here to play politics. We're here to talk about people, and the suffering that's going on, and how all of you can help. Because we're all brothers and sisters. We're all one big human family. We may think, well, I'm different and this different, and we've brought this up on the show before. I've been privileged to talk to Neil Armstrong. I've had conversations with Buzz Aldrin, John Glenn, Bill Nelson, and Captain Mike Foreman. They're all astronauts, and they all said the same thing. When you look down on this fragile blue Earth and see that very thin atmosphere around it, you realize this is the only place we have to live. So that's one of the reasons that Dr. Pat and I are doing this show, is because it's about people. So tune in tomorrow, Friday, March 18th, 11 a.m. Pacific, 2 p.m. Eastern, and all times either side of that, wherever you are, for a special episode with the youngest member of the Ukrainian parliament.
And I wanted to say how you all can watch it. It'll certainly be live streamed over Facebook. Hopefully they will not take it down. Facebook.com, Transformation Talk Radio. It is also going to be live streamed on KKNW AM 1150. It is also going to be live streamed at transformationtalkradio.com. Now, the reason it came up for me early on in the month, Mark, was that, and by the way, for all of you, today is a live call-in show. We want to help you all connect. See, there's one thing about St. Patty's Day and what Mark and I are talking about that has a common thread. And I don't know if you're aware of this, but at least this is my experience as a kid growing up in New York in the Bronx. The level of connection that took place between groups of people and then communities and blocks. Some people say we've lost it. Well, we only lose it when we decide not to create it. It doesn't go anywhere. We just don't take the initiative to have a block party. So today we're having a block party. I like, where's that from? For a minute, what am I? I'm Elizabeth Warren right there. We're having a block party for all of you that want to connect with a loved one today, because I know you got a few leprechauns out there you want to chat with, and to give you some guidance. The other thing I want to say is what sparked my interest was about 2 months ago when Ukraine, no, it was longer than that, when Ukraine started to first come up in average everyday language. I looked at the Ukrainian women. Mark, did you know that in 2014, and this fluctuates, but the percentage of female lawmakers were at about 12%, one of the stats. In 2019 election, it went to 53.
Wow.
Now, if they can do it, what the heck are we doing here? And these women are side by side with their male counterparts. They're successful women. They're passionate women. They're warriors. And that's what got my interest. And don't you know it? They are out there in the forefront. And boy, I'm telling you, I think we're going to look back and learn something from this. But can I say one last thing?
Absolutely.
I want you to weigh in on this. I don't know what it's like to be you, Mark. And I often wondered how somebody with your talent handles the atrocity of a hospital that's filled with women 3 days ago.
Yeah.
And why it took so long for everybody to call that a war crime against humanity. When that hospital was bombed, and pictures of mothers and children, unborn children. So many souls, even as we speak, are rising up, aren't they?
They are. And I have felt since I've been feeling for a while that a big war was coming. And that, and I hate being right about things like that. That's one of those things I really want to be wrong about.
Yeah.
And since this has happened, I've noticed, and I had to meditate today to bring it under control. It's almost like the verge of a panic attack. And I'm feeling the angst. And the thing is, there's refugee crises all over the world, in Syria, in Myanmar, throughout Africa, in Yemen, and those are absolutely horrific. And sadly, though, with Ukraine, it's pitting nuclear powers against each other. And I'm feeling an uneasiness I've never felt before, but there's this light, and there's this ray of hope. So I'm definitely focusing on this light and this ray of hope. But to feel all these minds crying out in horror, and it's horrible. And here's the thing: the Russian military has precision weapons. This isn't World War II where you fly over a city and let loose bombs and it hits what it hits. But I understand there's been communications intercepted from Russian soldiers who are not happy that they're being ordered to do these things. So all I can hope for is that compassion, love, and the light will intervene here.
Yeah. That's what I think we're going to hold up. And, that's what tonight's show it's about. It's also the spirit that we talked about, St. Patrick's Day. And, looking at St. Patrick's Day and thinking about what that means to so many people, Mark, right?
Yes.
Some people call it a cultural and religious celebration. It's held today. It's the death date of, I guess, St. Patrick. I guess that's what we celebrate, death dates of our saints.
Well, they don't know when he was born. Because when he was born, he wasn't famous. When he died, he was St. Patrick. Yeah. Well, yeah. And the thing is, it's funny because all my Irish friends, he was Irish. Well, actually, he was a Roman citizen. He lived around he died in 461 AD. So the Roman Empire still had some juice to it. Yep. And he was a Roman citizen who came from what is now like southern Scotland. He was kidnapped by Irish pirates and forced into being a shepherd in Ireland. And through that, he embraced his faith and then started converting people. And he started leading these ways of peace and enlightenment. Yeah. And he became a celebrated and revered figure in Ireland. So he was kind of this Gandhi-esque, saint. And because of his good nature, his good works, and the light that he brought, let's face it, 1,500 years later, we remember him.
And it's interesting what people want to debate. And I'm just going to set the record clear. It is St. Patty, 2 D's, Paddy. It's not Patty, Patty. So on this day, my name would change every year. And then finally it changed. But there are people who, want to battle this. They're like, oh, he wasn't Irish. Okay, well, hello. Wait a minute. Mother Teresa was not East Indian either. What's the point? The point is we're celebrating the energy and the spirit of something, right? We're celebrating, someone that represents for a large group of people some level of rise up in their spiritual nature. Whether you believe in this form of spirituality or not the point. But we kind of have fun with this day. You know, I dressed up as a leprechaun once.
You know, why do
I'm
I
so glad I
totally,
don't.
I
I'm so glad
totally
I don't have
believe that.
pictures.
I'm not shocked. And the thing is, I
Oh,
bet you were like the most kick butt and take names leprechaun ever.
oh my God, you have no
Were you riding
idea.
your Harley?
Well, let me just tell you, not in March. It was a little cold in New York, but everybody, like back in the day, everybody would be like dressed up, right? Today, you and I are dressed up because we're going to go to phones. Jacob, why don't we take a little short break if we could, really short? Then when we come back, Mark, you want to go to phones?
Absolutely. I'm ready.
All right, let's do it, Jacob. Welcome back, everybody. You are watching The Psychic and the Doc. Hey, Mark, before we go to the phones, and Jacob's going to help us with all of that, how do people get a copy of your book? How do they schedule sessions with you? All of the above.
Sure. Please visit my website, afterlifefrequency.com, which is the same as my new book, The Afterlife Frequency. And everyone that's listening, please sign up for my newsletter before the end of the show so that you'll get the newsletter about our very special episode tomorrow. And you can sign up for my newsletter, schedule a reading with me, find out about my upcoming events and upcoming episodes of The Psychic and the Doc by visiting afterlifefrequency.com. So, Dr. Pat, I am ready to take some calls. How about you?
Yeah, let's do it, Jacob.
All right, sounds great. We've got Julie calling in from New York. Hello there, Julie.
Hello, how are you tonight?
Good. How can we help you? Thank you for calling.
I'm looking for maybe some insight. I'm having some medical conditions, and I thought maybe Mark could pinpoint. I've been to urgent care and another doctor, and they can't seem to pinpoint what's going on. I wonder if maybe up above somebody has some guidance for me.
Okay, yes, and thank you for saying up above, because I'm not the one that's pinpointing it. Spirits, if they so choose, will give us some guidance. So let me see who's around you. I'm getting a male energy coming through. Now he feels like he could be on the generation above you. Now this could be an uncle, this could be a dad, or it could be maybe a friend or sibling that was older than you. And what I'm getting with this man is kind of outdoorsy, down to earth. Whenever I see a guy depicted wearing a white t-shirt and like jeans, now maybe he wore that or not, but maybe he didn't. But what that indicates is kind of like he was laid back, especially in his off time. He may have worn a suit or whatever at work, but in his downtime, very laid back. And what I'm getting with him is massive pains in my temples and my head. And I'm getting a flash of light inside of my head. Now, this flash of light and the sensation that I'm getting, Julie, is an indicator that he may have had a stroke, aneurysm, but it could have been a quick, sudden passing. Does any of this make sense to you?
Oh my God, yes, that's my grandfather. He had an aneurysm.
Okay, heck of a nice guy, really nice guy. And hold on, let's see. Interesting. Are you getting weird taste sensations, like food tastes kind of bitter and off a bit? Because that's what he's talking about with you. It's something with your taste is off.
Yes, metal taste in my mouth.
Metal taste. Okay, hold on. Let's see if Grandpa can help you out here.
It's so interesting. I just started to pucker up right there. I don't know if you could see me on camera. I thought
that's good.
Just
That's
really
good.
odd.
Pat always gets caught in the fallout of these
do.
connections, which
like,
is good.
What the heck is that?
He's telling me, first off, I'm getting electrolytes. Your mineral balance is completely messed up. Okay, it's like there's magnesium's up one day, then it's down. Potassium's up, sodium's up. I'm getting all this electrolyte imbalance. And I'm also getting, this is tied into a neurological issue. And I'm getting Have they meaning the doctors, have they tested your cholesterol and the blood flow around your heart, Julie?
Yes, I just was in urgent care for 8 hours and they couldn't find anything. I had a CAT scan and I had so much blood work and everything is negative.
This is a tough one because the blood is tied into it, and also there's something neurological. Now, I'm not trying to scare you, and I'm not a doctor, but this is what I'm getting conveyed, is the electrolytes, it's almost as if there is a major neurological problem coming, which can be headed off at the pass. And have you consulted with a neurologist?
No, not yet, but I do feel very much pressure in my chest and in my throat. And I went to digestive disease. They couldn't find anything. Then I went to urgent care and they couldn't find anything. So I don't know if I should go homeopathic at this point. I don't know what else to do at this point.
You know, I would get a referral to a neurologist and get a nerve conduction study or something, because the reason I'm getting all this electrolyte imbalance, it's almost like a red light on your dashboard that a neurological issue like a seizure or possibly a stroke could be in the future. Now don't panic, because I don't want to give you a stroke. Don't panic. This, in other words, we're getting this in enough time for you to do something about it. So you need to get into a neurologist. I'm all on board with the holistic doctor, but make sure that it's a very, very reputable holistic doctor, and preferably one that has an MD attached to it. Dr. Pat, do you have any insights?
I do. The first thing that came to mind when you were describing yourself reminded me of Linda's mom. And Linda's mom was pretty much given 6 months to live. Her heart was at 30%. We have a host on our network. Her name is Mary Jane Mack. She actually did a show today. She, along with Dr. Darvish, literally saved my life. She's a medical intuitive, and she uses a number of different tools, but she provides nutrition. So for whatever, I mean, I don't really understand how she does it, but I will tell you this story and it's quick. Linda's mom goes to the doctor. She had cancer in her body, didn't expect her to live. I called Mary Jane and I said, hello, can you do anything? Mary Jane says she's got a tired heart. So she sends Linda, I'm going to use the term nutrition. She sends her this nutrition to take. Joan looks at it and says, I got nothing to lose. Well, 30% of your heart, you have nothing to lose, and you got bone cancer. And so she takes it. About a month later, maybe 6 weeks, goes back to her heart doctor. She goes from 30% heart functioning to something like 65. And the doctor says, what have you done? And of course, nobody says anything. And he says, whatever you kept doing. So these are people that are in my sphere of reach that I reached out to in 2004 and 5 that literally helped me save my life. Today, I have a number of different things that I use from Mary Jane, and I'm still on her nutrition protocol. So if you want to find out more, just go to her website. There's no harm from doing a consult with her, right? MaryJaneMack.com, check it out, but make your own decision. You will know intuitively. But that's the heart story I wanted to share with you, if that makes sense. You see what I mean, Mark?
Oh,
you never
absolutely.
know. You never know.
You know, and Dr. Pat, when you're talking about the foods and things, I'm getting the neurological component, and I'm also feeling these could be triggered by an allergy as well, and that could have something to do with the electrolyte imbalance. So going to a homeopathic or rather a holistic doctor, but also I would still get the neurologist and possibly a referral to an allergist in conjunction with all of that. So Julie, absolutely. And Dr. Pat brought up a very, very fascinating and interesting point about food. What did Hippocrates, the father of medicine in ancient Greece, say? Is let your food be your medicine and your medicine be your food.
Yep.
So,
And she'll give you
yeah.
these in tablet form. They're a pharmaceutical grade. I don't know why I was called to tell you this, but let me know how you make out. Okay, Julie?
And check back with us too, Julie.
Thank,
Yeah. Woo,
thank
that
you
was good.
both. God
God
Yeah,
bless you,
God
Julie.
bless you. Happy Patty's Day. I broke out in a sweat. Jacob, who do we want to go to right there?
Yeah, next up we've got Donna calling in from Tennessee. Hey there, Donna.
Yes,
Hi,
Hey,
Donna. You're
hey.
welcome to the show, right? How can we
I
help
can
you
barely
today?
hear you.
Okay.
Donna, can you hear us? Donna.
Yes,
Jacob?
this is Donna.
Yeah, can you hear us?
You're cutting out a little bit.
Okay, that's not
Yeah.
on our end.
Yeah, that's gotta be your
that's on
phone.
your end. Yeah.
Yep. What do you want to do? Is there a way that you can dial her back, Jacob, and we'll go on to another caller?
Yeah, we can do that.
Okay.
Okay, I guess I can try to call on a regular landline.
That would be best.
Okay, but wait, if you give Jacob the number, he'll call you. How's that?
If I say that again,
Jacob, why don't you go offline? But in the meantime, give us our next caller and then you could work with her. Would you, Jacob?
Yep, that sounds
please?
great.
Okay.
We're going to move on to Angela from Oregon, and we'll be back with Donna in just a second.
All
And,
right.
and Donna brought up an interesting point. For those of you that are calling in, if you do have landlines are always preferable because they're more stable. Cell phones tend to cut in and out. And I know we all use and live by our cell phones. So anyway, all right. So we got Angela.
Angela, how are you?
I'm fine, thank you.
How can we help you today?
Can you hear me all right?
Yeah. How can you not hear us?
I can hear you fine.
Oh,
All right, Angela, what can we do for you?
Well, I found out yesterday that my former father-in-law passed away. And he actually passed away back in October, and I didn't even know. My feelings were a little bit hurt that I didn't find out until now. But being an ex-father-in-law, it makes sense that I wasn't, informed. But my last reading I had with you, you had brought up a Mexican man who was a father figure, and I just couldn't make the connection at all. And so I realized that was probably him coming through. I just didn't know they had passed away. And it kind of made me feel a little bit better that somebody did tell me that he passed away in a timely manner. I just didn't realize.
Well, he did.
So I just
he did.
wanted to express my appreciation.
Oh, thank you, Donna, and my condolences on your loss. Was this guy, was he kind of sort of a medium build, maybe had a bit of a belly on him at some point? Not, like how guys get sort of the pot belly, beer belly, and just a really good-natured guy.
Yeah.
Okay.
He's a little bit older, so staying in shape's a little harder.
Yeah, well, he's back. Okay. And he's smoking a cigarette. So I'm assuming based on him smoking, it's not that spirits smoke. These are identifiers. Okay. So at some point in his life, he was a smoker. And the thing is, I don't get that he was like a heavy chain smoker, sort of light to moderate smoker. Does that make any sense to you?
Well, I didn't know him when he was younger, so.
Okay.
I wouldn't have known about his bad habits.
He's talking about the month of July. Now, July can indicate births, deaths, anniversaries, or events connected to you, to him, or someone close to either of you within the month of July. Births, deaths, anniversaries, or events. Any of that makes sense to you?
Not off the top of my head, but
yes, it does. Yes, it does. He's really hitting like right around 4th of July. So there may be something that you guys did every year. Oh, here we go. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Okay. Well, no, I was thinking in relation to him or a connection,
that's
but
why,
yeah, 4th of July was.
Hold on. That's why. Okay. And for your benefit and everyone else, that's why I say births, deaths, anniversaries, or events connected to him, to you, or someone close to you in the month of July. And I know I say it fast, but what happens is people tend to just focus on the spirit. So what's the significance of July?
Well, it was just it was an emotional time for me.
Okay, well, there you go. So he's zeroing in on that. Here's the thing. He doesn't want you to worry about the fact that your ex and his family didn't notify you about this. He said that if they had, it would have drawn you back into that dynamic. And he said, even though, you know, you're separated from him, you'd be, here's his words, pulled back into the hellhole that you didn't need to be pulled back into. Okay. So he wants you to know that. Dr. Pat, you've got to say something here. This is right up your alley.
Yeah, hellhole wasn't going to be the phrase I was going to use. It was going to be a little bit more vulgar than that. And so it's hard to know, and I don't like to talk about private things on air, but somebody really hurt you, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I'd been working through a lot of that past stuff in July.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't want to talk a lot about it on air because I really respect privacy, but I'm going to give you two little tidbits. One is the hardest lesson for me to learn in my life was what forgiveness is. It's the oddest word ever used in the English language. Okay. Because when we use the word as what it means, it makes sense. But when we take our jargon or our Englishisms around it, we misunderstand it. Forgiving oneself or another doesn't mean you condone the act. There's no way that I'm ever going to be able to condone the act of being beaten every night in a Catholic boarding school at age 6. You know, there's nothing that makes that right? There's nothing that makes the bombing of a maternity, a hospital, right. We're never going to condone it.
No.
But the idea is to be at peace with your past. Do you see what I mean? And
that's what
it's a journey. Yeah, I can feel that. I hear that you work through it. And you know what? You're right on track with it. You really are right on track with it, because if you weren't, you would have never called into this show. You would have never called into this show. You would not have had the resilience to call in here. You are more than halfway there. I just want to tell you that. It's almost like you're at the gateway. There's one last piece of it, and I don't know what that is, but there's just one little dangling piece of it. You know, it's okay. It's like spinach in your teeth. You see, you got rid of the whole hairball. That's taken care of. Right. You know, like a cat, like when they get those awful hairballs, right? You ever see that? I don't own any cats, but I know cats have hairballs.
It's like when you cough up a hairball, but there's still a hair in your mouth and you're trying to
oh
fish it
my
out.
God, that's it exactly. So you've already gotten the hairball up, and this is residual. And the importance of residual sometimes is a little bit harder because there's a part of us that wants to hold on to it. And it wants to hold on to it because we're so used to carrying the burden of woundedness. We're just so used to it. We have a love-hate relationship with it. But if you just go with this last piece, whatever you're being asked to do with this last piece, whatever that looks like, that's going to open up the door to freedom. That doesn't mean you're not going to have memories. You're not going to think about, you know, probably something that happened to you. Yes, you will. But the difference between thinking about them once you let go and thinking about them now is you will not be coughing up any more hairballs. Okay. You feel me on that?
Right. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I can talk about my situation in Catholic boarding school now without any emotional reaction to it. And I now become an advocate for young children that don't have a voice for that. Right. And so this is just the last piece. If you can just use some mouthwash. Get the rest of it out, okay?
Right.
Okay. You're going to be good. You're good. You're already good. You're already good. I like it. Thank you for calling in.
Great,
Please
thank
keep
you.
us in touch. Let us know, please. Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, Mark, I was asked if we could set up, Jessica's working on this for us, if we could set up a special either instant message or a text message for people to send us to just follow up and let us know how they're doing. So we're in the process of setting up that kind of thing. It's most likely going to be a text device because that's what everybody seems to use. But that's another way for people that can't always get in the show, right? Jacob, what do we want to do? Do we want to keep rolling here?
Yeah, I think we should keep moving along here.
Okay.
And we've got Donna actually back on the line with us. So let's give that another try here.
Hi, Donna.
Hey there, Donna. You still there?
Yes, I can barely hear you. It sounds like you're in a barrel.
Well, we're not. Donna, can you turn the volume on your phone up? Because see, the sound quality issue is not on our end. Unfortunately, it appears to be on your end. Can you hear us though?
Jacob.
Okay, it's not my cell phone. It is
Right.
a regular landline.
That's okay. We're going to work with you anyway. Jacob, crank it up as much as you can. Donna, tell us how we can help you today. How can we help you?
I just wanted to know if there was anyone that has passed over that had any words of wisdom for me at this time.
I'm getting a female energy coming through. She feels like she's on the grandmother level, connected to you through her mother's side of the family. And she was the quintessential little old lady, but boy, she had a personality and was really feisty and energetic. And I get the sense that you spent a lot of time with her, or she spent a lot of time with you when you were very young. Does this make any sense to you?
Yes, a grandmother.
Okay. All right. So let's see what she wants you to know. Ow, ow, ow. Are you under a lot of tension? Are you getting tension headaches or a lot of headaches? She's talking about you, and it's like the weight of the world. And I'm getting, when I say she's projecting to me these sensations, tension headaches, tremendous amounts of stress. Does that make any sense to you, Donna?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. See, boy, she came out like out of the gate like gangbusters. She said you have to learn to start telling people no. You can't always say yes to everything that is asked of you. And she said what it is, you're afraid you're going to hurt people's feelings, and then you're sitting there by yourself resenting the fact that you bit off a bigger piece than you can chew. Now, she's not being critical. I mean, what she's explaining is that you're a nice person and you have a good nature, but you have to explain to people that as much as you'd like to say yes, you have to say no sometimes. Pat, Dr. Pat?
It's one of the hardest things that we do is to be able to say no. And can I tell you I hope you can hear me. It took me a while to get to know. So you know what I had to do? I had to go to the place of maybe. Does that sound weird? Like,
no, not at all.
Okay. So as a kid, right, I tried to do everything. I worked 3 jobs, I tried to do everything. And I learned from a guy in New York, a homeless guy. He was homeless with me. And I learned from him. And he said, when you're homeless, you can't be saying yes to everybody, like on the street. He said, the favorite word that he uses is maybe. And I know that sounds like a cop out to a lot of people, but it was the best I could do. It was the best I could do. Or the other thing he taught me was say, I'm not sure. Let me think about it. I got to tell you, I'm saying it now, but boy, when I was learning this, it was really hard. Do you see what I'm saying?
Yes. It's kind of hard when it's family, though.
It's harder when it's family. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
See, Dr. Pat and I are both from Italian families.
Oh,
So we have family to the, squared 10th power. But the thing is, your family also loves you and understands and say, as much as I'd like to do that, I've got so much on my plate right now. I'm at the breaking point. When I get things, under control, then I'll be able to help. Dr. Pat, don't you think that's kind of the way of saying maybe?
well, it is. And it starts at a very loving place. And this is a great conversation for today because it escalates. It may start with having another bowl of pasta, right? Or another bowl of spaghetti. Or maybe you don't want 4 meatballs, right? So maybe it starts with something very loving, but what gets ingrained is it becomes harder and harder and harder to do it. And it's just one of those life lessons that you are never too old to learn, and you can practice, right? When I learned I could have fun and practice, like when this guy was telling me, just practice, you're probably never going to see these people again. He said, just practice on them. And I used to practice and have the greatest time. I would be like, oh my gosh, that is so, I don't know what to say to you. I mean, I got to think about that. Let me think about that. And then they keep at you. And I have 2 friends that are from Asia, and they taught me the method they use. And you just have to keep saying, gosh, thank you for asking me. But you know what? I got to take some time to think about that. Thank you. Thank you for asking me. And you just keep repeating yourself until they get nauseated.
Okay.
That's your first step.
Yeah. And Donna, you got to check back with us on this one.
Okay. I'll just look at Transformation Radio Talk, and y'all will have a number up there that you can call back on.
Yes. You can give us a call back, 1-800-930-2819. That's anytime you want to do that. Or Mark, what's your email?
Well, people can go to my website, which is afterlifefrequency.com. But the thing is, it's best if you want to, get back with us, do it through the show. Because I get hundreds of emails per week, and we do our best to keep up with them.
Okay. Did you have a telephone number that you could have a phone reading?
Oh, yeah. So just go to the website, afterlifefrequency.com. It's all there. One-stop shopping.
Okay. I missed it then.
Well, you've got to... Here's the thing.
He does everything on his website.
Yeah, just go and make sure, because at the top, but when you click on book a phone reading with Mark, the first thing it says is kindly read this entire page. So make sure you read everything before you fill out the form. All right, Donna, thanks for calling in.
Thank you. Happy Patty Day. Yeah. Oh my gosh. That is hard to do. Jacob?
Yep, we've got time for one more caller, and we're going to go to Linda from Seattle. Hi there, Linda.
Linda.
Oh, hi.
Hey, I bet you want some help with getting some sunshine here, right?
Yeah, I just want to hear from anybody on the other side.
Mark.
All right. Hold on. And I'm getting a female energy coming through. What's interesting, Linda, is she could be on your generational level. So that could be like a friend, cousin, a sister. And what I'm getting with her is I'm coughing. Or when I say I mean she. And this indicates that she was having severe pulmonary problems. And I'm tasting blood. It's like I'm coughing so hard, I'm tasting blood. Now, certainly in the COVID era, it could relate to that. But in different medical conditions or different causes of death tend to have a similar sensation. So this could be a tuberculosis. This could be a lung cancer. But I'm coughing, and I'm also feeling pain in the heart and then below the rib cage on the left side in the area of the pancreas. So this lady was having a lot of problems. And then I'm also feeling discomfort in her lower GI tract and colon. Interesting. This could be a cancerous condition. And the reason that I'm saying this is because there's several different areas being affected by this burning sensation and with blood. Do you recognize this person?
I had an aunt that had some of those symptoms.
Okay. Is there a Michelle connected to you or to her? Because I keep hearing like Michelle. I mean, Michelle could be like Shelley, but I keep hearing a Michelle. It doesn't always have to be her name. It could be somebody else connected to either of the two of you.
Marcel or?
That'll work. Okay.
That's it.
That'll work. Okay. Well, and Marcel, who's Marcel?
It was a friend from a long time ago.
Is she in this world or the other side?
In what?
Is she
he
alive or dead?
Is he or she
Oh,
alive
yeah.
or
I don't
passed?
know. I don't know
Okay.
if it's passed or not.
Oh,
Interesting.
okay.
All right.
All
Well,
right.
okay, good. Let me work with this spirit. Let me see what
Hmm.
she wants you to know. Oh, interesting. She's saying a very merry unbirthday to you, to you. Now, that's an interesting song when I get that, because that's from Disney's Alice in Wonderland. But that is a trigger that spirits give me that can mean a number of things. That can indicate 3 weeks either side of today. So think of a 6-week time frame. Today is smack in the middle. 6-week time frame,
Okay.
3 weeks either side of today. Births, deaths, anniversaries, or events, which could be connected to you or somebody close to you, either in this world or the other side. And because it's the Alice in Wonderland song, it could be a trigger for a name, which is a variation on Alice, like Alice, Alicia, Lisa, Liza, something like that. Does anything there make sense to you?
No, but
Let's
I'll
go.
think about that because that's, yeah.
All right, no, let's go with the 3 weeks either side of today. About 2 weeks
Okay.
ago, there was something.
So April 3rd or something would be 3 weeks.
Well, that would be in that time frame. Yes. What's happening on April 3rd?
Yeah. I had a friend that died, but she died from Alzheimer's.
Alzheimer's. Okay.
And her birthday was April 3rd.
Okay. Hold on. See what actually you got 3 different female spirits here. So they're lining up for you. Oh, well, they always show up in groups. Let's let me get them to kind of coordinate their efforts here and see what they want you to know. Hold on.
Okay.
Ow, I'm feeling stiffness and pain in my joints, particularly my elbows, my shoulders, my wrists. Are you having any type of discomfort in your joints? You know, it's funny. It's like one of those sensations. It's like a carpal tunnel, but it's all over. Okay.
Yeah, I am.
And they're concerned because they don't feel that you're doing much about it. Does that make sense to you?
Yeah.
You know, it's that guilty pause. It's okay. This is not an indictment. What it is, that's what they.
It's an invitation.
Yes, it's an invitation for you. It's an opportunity for you to do something about this. And they're also telling me, you know, it's interesting because in the last caller, I kept getting, and I believe the one before that, anxiety. And they're talking about you're getting this anxiety and stress, which is aggravating your connective tissue issues.
Yeah.
So
you know how strongly I feel what you're saying? I'm getting it in the back, in my back, which is where the kidneys are. I mean, honestly, since you guys have been talking, I had a pain that just started to go up my back. And sometimes when I'm not protecting myself, I'll pick up on that. But you've been instructed to do something. Okay, can I ask you a question? Has somebody told you to drink more water? That sounds silly, right?
No, it doesn't.
I need to ask her. Has somebody told you to do that?
Yeah, they have, and I've been drinking a lot more water than I used to.
No, I know, but that means if you drank a half a glass, you're now drinking a whole glass, right?
Yeah, and several times during the day too.
Okay, so you know you can drink more, right? And do you drink coffee or caffeine?
Yeah, I do try to drink more, but sometimes when I drink more, then I don't feel like eating. And
I know. Isn't that the craziest thing? So can I give you a quick solution that I found for it?
Okay.
A lot of times in the morning, here's what I got to do. I know I'm not going to do it during the day. I know I'm going to drink coffee. I know it. In my morning
Yeah.
ritual, I will go to my sink and I will get myself a giant pH. I got a pH thing, and I will fill like a big thing, and I will stand there and drink it. And that
Wow.
gets me go. I have to, because once I walk out of this place and I go into the studio, game over. My friend
Yeah.
does has something also that's better. They have this water thing she carries around with her, and it's attached to a straw, and she sips it all day long.
Great.
Sips all day long.
Oh, that sounds like a good plan.
That one is, it's incredible. There's no reason why I don't have one of those. I'm just too lazy.
Uh-huh.
Mark,
Yeah.
anything else?
Yeah, absolutely. And do you have a doctor, or can you go to a doctor that specializes in rheumatoid arthritis?
I've been going to doctors, and I've also got a chiropractor and also a naturopath. So I'm working with different people.
Very
you're,
good.
You're good to go. And I
Yeah.
bet every single one of them will tell you, yeah, you have improved on your water, but really got to crank it up.
Yes. Okay. Thanks.
Hey,
Good
thank
check.
you for
Yeah.
calling in.
Yeah. Oh, I know what
Thank
that
you
feels
very
like.
much.
Mark.
And-
What a
and-
great show. Thank you, everybody. Mark,
do.
what a
And-
great show.
Absolutely. And everybody, if you're tuning in, tune in late tomorrow at 11 a.m. Pacific, which is 2 p.m. Eastern. It's 1 p.m. Central, noon Mountain Time. We are doing a very special episode of The Psychic and the Doc. We have Svatoslav Urash, the youngest member of the Ukrainian parliament, will be our guest on a special live from Ukraine episode of The Psychic and the Doc. And we're going to be finding out firsthand about the plight of the people in Ukraine suffering during this horrible war. And on behalf of Dr. Pat and I and the Transformation Network, we're here to foster compassion and consolation to everyone in the world who's suffering, and the people of Ukraine have a special place in our hearts.
And Jacob will have a special disclaimer out there, because we are not sure, since this is live from a war zone.
Yeah.
So we're just saying, thank you, Mark. Thank you so much for making that happen. Rocky, thank you. Jacob, thank you. Linda, and to the best audience on the planet, thank you so much for warming up our hearts today.
Thank you. Happy and have a blessed St. Patrick's Day.
You got it. See you.
Hey, everybody. Thank you for tuning into The Psychic and the Doc with Mark Anthony and me, Dr. Pat Baccili, right here on TransformationTalkRadio.com. Hey, look, come back next week so we can explore with you more of life's many challenges and learn from fascinating guests. And you know what? Even Mark and me. We'll connect you and discover insights from people in this life and from the afterlife. Extraordinary problems? Yeah, they do. They require extraordinary solutions. But step into the world of possibilities with us on The Psychic and the Doc. That's every Thursday, 4 p.m. Pacific Time, 7 p.m. Eastern Time, right here on TransformationTalkRadio.com. That's TransformationTalkRadio.com. And don't forget, we're also live face-to-face on Facebook.com, Transformation Talk Radio.